Hey Wildcats, welcome to the Rains High School review, and today we're going to be talking about a couple movies and like just things that we've watched recently. And I know that you have something for us, so would you like to tell us about that?
So, for the weekend, I watched the first 3 episodes of Sandman, or The Sandman on Netflix.
Okay, just to like kind of give a backstory, because I don't know what this is about. What is the show like generally about?
The show is, so the Sandman he is the king of dreams. So there's this like race of endless. They're called the endless, and they're, various gods such as death, desire, all those gods.
Yeah.
And basically in this story, how I've seen so far is that he loses his 3 tools, which throughout the story is what he's trying to get back. He loses his bag of sand, his helmet, and his ruby, which each have individual powers that, help him commit to his duties as the King of Dreams.
What would you say is the best part of this show that you've watched so far?
So I'd say just the visuals, like the set pieces and everything I'd say it's perfect, especially with the themes of gods and our protagonist Morpheus, or that's his real name, as the king. I'd say it's a very pretty show. Like they have the visuals down to a T.
Okay, yeah, that's always good to have a good show with visuals. Do you find any issues with this show?
Not yet. The only issue I'd say anyone would have is the episodes are 45 minutes long. Like all the episodes they're pretty long.
Yeah.
And I say that some would have trouble finishing it just because of the long runtime.
All right, so what would your overall score of this show be?
So far, I gotta say it's 4.5. Like I don't have any problems with it. It's just a great show to watch, especially if you're into the like dark mythical fantasy. There's a lot of those themes in here.
And where can we find this on? It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
And this weekend, I watched this new movie in theaters called Beast with Idris Elba, and it was just awesome. Like, it's a thriller / horror, and, like, the shots were amazing. Like, there were so many jump scares, and it was horrible because we sat, like, right here. And, like, I got up to use the restroom, and then, like, the line came from right here, and I, like, jumped back in my seat.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible.
So what was your best part about that whole movie?
I'd probably say towards the end, whenever Idris Elba fights the lion. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but like it was a really good scene, and I really loved it.
Any issues at all?
The characters are dumb, and I mean, like not in a rude way, but like some of the characters are really idiotic. Like there would be like stay in the car. Like everybody tells this person stay in the car, they get out of the car, and I'm just like. Like the agony of watching them, like not knowing that there's something behind them is like horrible.
Very frustrating. It's like common sense.
Yes, like why would you get out of the car? There's literally a lion out there. There's like, no chance.
So what would you rate this movie out of 5 stars?
I'd probably say 5 stars just because of how good it was. I really liked it, and that's saying something because I usually don't like his movies, but it was really good.
Well, make sure to check out that and The Sandman.
Yes. For our next review, I'm here with Mr. Lance, who's going to tell us about a movie that he recently watched.
Yeah, so this weekend, the kids and I went to go see Dragon Ball Superhero. I know there's 2 supers, that's okay. But I don't know if anybody out there is a Dragon Ball Super fan or Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on Dragon Ball Z my entire life, absolutely adored it. It was fantastic from beginning to end. And this movie was great. It was awesome. I highly recommend it. It's #1 in the box office right now. It's been a slow month this month, but anime is at the top of the list in the box office. So awesome about that. But here's the thing. There's some changes. If you guys are anime fans, this movie is kind of like the mix between like CG and traditional animation. Almost, if anybody's seen Demon Slayer out there, when he has his like special abilities and it kind of goes all 3D, well, this whole movie is like that 3D perspective, which is pretty cool because you can get some like really cool like panning motions around the characters, which I really enjoyed. And in this particular one, just as a synopsis, we get away from the 2 main protagonists, Goku and Vegeta. They're off training Otherworld. This is a whole movie about like the other characters, and more particularly about Piccolo and about Gohan, the son of Goku, and kind of what is going on in their world when a threat happens and the 2 awesome superheroes, right, Goku and Vegeta are off world. What's going to happen? What happens to the B team?
What would you say your favorite part about this is?
I would say the humor. That's the first part. This movie's hilarious. Like, even if you haven't seen any of the Dragon Ball movies, which I would highly recommend. But anyway, even if you haven't, this movie, I was like literally just like laughing at like some of the jokes. Like there's this whole like running gag, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's this whole like running gag that Piccolo loves like little cute plushies. But the problem is that even though everybody and all of his friends, all of his buddies all think that he loves like these little plush toys, he hates them. So like all the time they're like, "We know you love it, Piccolo." And he's like, "Oh, why?" Ah. So anyway, it's so great. He's got like a little like plushy like phone case, and he's just like, "Hi guys, how's it going?" And like, I mean, it's if you know Piccolo, he's like this like really like strong alien being. You know, he was like kind of like the king of Earth almost, but now he's this, you know, he's helping the good guys, but it's hilarious that he has this whole like plushy thing going on.
Did you find any issues with this movie at all?
Yeah, the main issue that I came up with it is the beginning is a little rough. So because this takes place in a Dragon Ball world that's been going on for like what, 30 years, 35? I don't even know how long it was. I remember watching Dragon Ball when I was in 6th grade. Like that was when I first saw Dragon Ball Z, was in 5th or 6th grade. And that's when I fell in love with it. So it's been going on for a long time. So like there's like literally like 10 minutes in the beginning that are like filling you in on this is what's happening so far. Because if you just walk into this movie, you're gonna be like, I just don't understand. And I get it, you have to do that. But the first 10 minutes are really slow, especially if you know what's going on with the characters. After that like little runtime beginning 10 minutes of like almost like a PowerPoint like slideshow of like the best events of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Then it gets into the story. Then it's awesome. Then it's over the top. Then it's amazing. But if you are a super fan of the franchise, I mean, skip the first 10 minutes and then just goes directly into the cool stuff.
Okay. What would you overall rate this movie?
I'm a huge anime fan, so if I ignore the first 10 minutes, I'm going to say a 4.7. And this is why. I would have rated it a 5 if it was traditional animation. And for me, the previous film, I don't know if you guys saw Broly. Broly was awesome. The fight scene at the end of Broly was absolutely sensational in every way. And just the way that they filmed that fight at the end of the previous movie gave that movie a 5 out of 5 stars. I believe that Broly, the previous film, is the best Dragon Ball can offer. This film, on the other hand, with the CG, with the new aesthetic style, they could have done a lot more than what that they did, and I think it was lacking just a little bit on what made Broly just so epic at the end. So I'm going to rate this one a 4.7 out of 5.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and telling us about your experience with this movie.
Absolutely. You guys go out, check it out. It is a really, really fun film. I have a 6-year-old that loved it all the way up to a 15-year-old that thought it was amazing too. So as far as for kids' movies and everything else, it is totally worth it for families.
All right. Well, thank you. And that'll be at Wildcats.